Fannie Mae recently removed the long-standing 620 minimum credit score for conforming loans. In this video, I will explain what this could mean for you the next time you apply for a mortgage, who benefits from this, what are the risks, and whether or not this actually makes it easier for you to qualify for a loan, or if it just helps lenders sell more loans in the first place. Stay tuned to the end. I'll give you my opinion on whether or not this means we're in another 2008 crisis or not. My name is Brigid Schlegel. I'm your Austin, Texas real estate agent. I work a lot with relocators to the Austin market. Also, I specialize a lot in newer construction homes and first-time home buyers. If you're looking for your first home or relocating out to the Austin market, book a call with me down below. I'd love to talk to you more about your situation. We'll do a private consultation to talk strategy and how you can best take advantage of these changes in the mortgage industry, such as this waiving of the 620 minimum credit score and conforming loans. Also, what about portable mortgages and proposed 50-year mortgage plan that Trump has. I've made a video on portable mortgages recently and also the 50-year mortgage, so you can refer back to those to see my opinion on those topics. Today, I'll get back to the waiving of the 620 minimum credit score. Under the old rules, if your credit score was below 620, you were basically stopped at the gate. You were not allowed to have a conforming loan. Some major examples of conforming loans would be just a conventional 30-year fixed mortgage, a 15-year conventional mortgage, conventional adjustable rate mortgages, and some programs such as Home Ready, which offers low down payments for first-time home buyers. Now, I'll preface, there are other loan products out there that already service borrowers who have credit scores below the 620 mark. Some of those include FHA, which are great for first-time home buyers who want to put little money down, also VA loans for veterans, or USDA loans, which are great for rural or land areas. However, a conventional loan is one of the most commonly used loan products out there. Fannie Mae essentially has a desktop underwriter that automatically runs through your application and qualifies you or denies you. However, with this change, the waiving of the 620 minimum credit score allows the desktop underwriter to evaluate your entire risk profile more thoroughly than having so much weight on your credit score itself. In other words, the decision goes from, did you hit that minimum credit score amount, or does this complete profile make sense for any loan approval? So this change actually is opening the door for people who have limited credit history or no credit history at all. I've encountered many times where I'm working with someone who has immigrated here and they're on a work visa or an investor visa in the United States, but they're just starting to build their credit profile, and because their credit is so early in the game, they're not able to qualify yet for a loan. However, this could help them show a lender that they are a qualified borrower because they have a good history of managing their finances. It's just that one credit score is not holding them back anymore. It opens up the ability for lenders to look at more details such as rent payments, utility payments, phone bill payments, insurance, any other recurring obligation that you may have been handling properly in the first place. Essentially, it's a more nuanced way to look at how people manage their money and their finances. What traditionally would have been a very thin file because someone didn't have a credit score or didn't have much of a credit score at all, the lenders can now identify what else is out there. So let's summarize this. You apply for a loan, you fill out the application with your local lender, the lender pulls your credit, they ask you for required documents, usually pay stubs, W-2s, employment verifications. Then that lender runs the information through the desktop underwriter. And the underwriter comes back with an answer of either approved and eligible or requiring more information. Also, during the stage, the home is oftentimes appraised as well. Ultimately, then, the lender's own underwriter reviews everything and ends up making the final decision on approval. Then you close on the home, and the lender then sells the home to Fannie Mae or to one of the mortgage-backed securities that is Fannie Mae guaranteed. You'll still work with a servicer to make your loan payments, but Fannie Mae is working in the background for these conforming loans. So in this sense, there is a working together component between the lender that you are communicating with and Fannie Mae in the background. Now, I went and I talked to a few of my local lenders to get their opinion on this waiving of the minimum 620 credit score. And essentially their opinion is, yes, it does help maybe approve more loans for the Fannie Mae level and the desktop underwriters. However, that individual lender may not be more laxed on their credit score in the first place. So essentially, again, that lender is making the final call, not Fannie Mae. And lenders aren't necessarily just going to waive that 620 credit score minimum themselves. They are still going to have standards for what type of loans and what type of borrower they're going to work with. So there are going to be some winners, borrowers who may have a thin file when it comes to credit in the first place, but they check off all the other boxes with steady income and consistent payments. Also, it may help some self-employed borrowers who have lots of cash reserves and clean payment history, but not as much business credit. Ultimately, the consensus that I've gathered is that it won't make too much of a difference because, again, that lender is the one making the final call. It may help some borrowers get past the desktop underwriter approval stage, but ultimately it's going to come down with which lender you're working with and their particular criteria as well. So it's not going to be a green light for reckless borrowing or easy approval. If the overall file or application that you submit is considered weak, there's still definitely a chance you're going to get denied, unfortunately. In my eyes, this shift to not having so much weight being on the 620 minimum credit score is not about making it easier for loans. It's actually about measuring risk better, because when Fannie Mae and lenders are able to fully recognize everything to do with your finances, you might be able to show up as a better borrower on paper than originally when credit scores had more weight in the game. Another question you might be wondering is this going to fix affordability? And I don't think so. By itself, it's not going to fix any affordability because at the end of the day, most buyers, from my experience, are not necessarily sitting on the sidelines because of their credit score. Usually they're waiting due to the interest rates and price points. I think it will still help a lot of borrowers who were close to being qualified, but now can have that opportunity to show the lender more of their information. I guess you can assume I'm not predicting any 2008 crisis because of this change. The 2008 downturn was primarily due to bad loan products, poor documentation, and too much risk in the system. But this change now is not less documentation and less risk and that anything goes. It's the removal of a blunt score model to a more holistic model. And if anything, it should make qualifying more quality because there's going to be more data points that your lender can base their decision off of. So if you're considering buying anytime soon and planning to do a conventional loan, talk to your lenders or ask me for some referrals and start gathering more proof or documentation of your rent payments, utilities, basically track all of those regular monthly dues to make sure that you have that evidence on hand as well. The debt to income ratio is still going to be important. Cash reserves are still going to be important as well. But just keep in mind, your options for qualifying for a loan are only going to expand, in my opinion, from this change of removing the 620 minimum credit score. The best thing you can do is just take care of your finances, be aware of your spending, and make sure that you eliminate having any late payments at all as best as possible. Hopefully this video is helpful to explain a little bit more about these changes, and ultimately I'm sure my opinion will change as these things start to take more of a hold in today's market and we're starting to interact with it more. But this is just my initial opinion as these changes are happening in the market. You can also watch some of my recent videos on portable mortgages and 50-year mortgages and get my honest opinion on who is benefiting from those and who is going to get hurt. Again, my name is Brigid Schlegel. I am your Austin, Texas real estate agent. Give me a call or book a private consultation down below, and we will talk strategy about your particular situation, your next move, your first move, and I look forward to hearing from you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop a comment down below on your opinion about this change with Fannie Mae and the 620 minimum credit score. I'd love to hear your opinion. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.